My name is Lawrence Ray, also known as LRW3, and this is the Talk to Me Nice podcast. And today, I got a lot of great people here with me. I'm going to have you two first by introducing yourself, and then we're going to have our guest of honor introduce himself last.
I love it. Here we go. Okay. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Shump Photography in the building.
Oh, I'm Tanai.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Brandon. My professional name is Mr.Monday. And I'm here today to leave a good impact with my good brother Lawrence.
That's love, that's love. Man, before I just want to start by giving the flowers, man. You know, a lot of people like to show me love for what me, Chris, what the Talk to Me Nice team does in the community, which we do, of course, which is awesome. But a lot of people, when it comes to like a movement of trying to like inspire against the youth, they like to put a face to it. And I think they starting to confuse it a little bit. Like, yeah, I appreciate the love, but I'm not the face of it. Like, there was somebody doing this at a higher level before me. So this is why this one is long overdue. This is the true face of what we're doing. We're just trying to follow the footsteps that you created. So we want to make sure we give you flowers and acknowledge where it comes from. And it's not, we doing the best we can, but there's somebody else still doing it. Want to make sure that's acknowledged. So it's definitely an honor. This has been scheduled for a while. And just happy we can finally sit down and make this happen.
Facts.
So before we get too deep into it, man, just give people just a quick summary of yourself before we dive too deep into this.
Cool, man. I want to say I appreciate you on that, though, brother. Just this whole environment, like with my niece here, Tanaya, I respect her so much because this is a challenge for us, right? This is our first time doing this together. And I want to say thank you for asking that question of, is she coming too? Because, boom, we're here. But overall, man, like what you just said, I'm overall a people leader. The movement and the impact that you've made, this is long overdue because I'm like, yo, bro, we in alignment, and I see it. And I want to put my hands in and you activate me the way you need to, brother, because I appreciate you. But overall, that's what I'm about, just people leader. Moving forward, having that will to reach for more, that's it, period. That's what I do. You can call me a life coach. You can call me a mentor, whatever you want to call me, but overall, that's what I'm about, brother.
Your favorite motto is, what's in the way becomes the way, always address the elephant in the room. What about that phrase really stands out and makes you like, that's your favorite one?
Man, I'm glad you brought that up. But overall, that phrase, I cannot make this up at all. That phrase helped me solidify my foundation as I went forward and reaching for more. But I was at a point, man, to where I avoided a lot of things. But that phrase got me to slow down and realize the very thing I'm avoiding is the very way I have to go if I want to leave a solid impact. So what's in the way could be my habits. It could be how I communicate. It could be me not understanding the impact that I have. It could be certain things that can be, things I want to avoid. But that's the very thing I got to face. I can't avoid it. It can be confrontation, whatever the case is. I can't avoid it. It's the elephant in the room.
Makes sense.
That helps me address things at a faster pace, though. So that just changed my life because now I'm holding myself accountable. Instead of trying to talk about something else, I face the reality of what's in the way. So that's just what that quote is about, man. But it means a lot to me, though. It really does.
I like that. I like that explanation on that. So, like I tell everybody on these interviews, my goal for interview that went well is I like to, quote unquote, build the foundation. Meaning, if they never seen you before for whatever reason, I want them to be able to watch this one video and know everything they need to know about you. They don't have to go nowhere else to find out what they need to know.
This is it.
This is
I love it. I love it.
So in building the foundation, I like to start, obviously you're doing excellent things now. I like to start before then to the quote unquote foundational years. So tell us about how it was just you growing up. Just talk to us about that.
Ah, man. Boy, I like this. But nah, overall, man, I was born in Sacramento, California. My father is in the military, retired, but he was in the military Air Force. That's Ernest Rudolph Brown Jr. Shout out to you, brother. This is his jersey, actually. He means a lot to me. But that's my father. Call him Junior B. But we was born in Sacramento. He got stationed in Valdosta, Georgia. So I lived there for like 5 years.
Hey, hometown.
229. Respect to you, brother. The WG9 Elementary.
That's what
I'm from Valdosta, like that. But from there, we moved to Warner Robins. I was like 4th grade, something of the sort. But when we got to Warner Robins, Northside Elementary, Northside Middle, then Northside High. So I'm from the north side of town, if you didn't know.
That's a fact. Straight from the north side.
That's a fact, man. But my impact from when I got to Warner Robins was always football. Played football my entire life. If you know me, you know me.
He was cold. I give you credit. Hey, we don't flex with the camera. He was cold. He was cold.
You know what I mean? But that was a part of my life that I knew I was great at, right? But I knew it was more. Just being honest, I knew it was more. So after football, it started Valdosta State University. Once I graduated from Valdosta State University with football, I still pursued my dreams with professional, but it was one of those things of I was still finding myself. So I still was training, going to Canadian tryouts, but I really wanted to play football, but I knew it was something a little more. But overall, went to Brazil. I'm going to speed it up because we're going to get to that. But went to Brazil with my mentoring organization, 4-way mentoring. It started here in Warner Robins, took it over to Brazil nationally. Then from there, I retired from mentoring, went to motivational speaking, went crazy. If I do say so myself.
I tell you, if you don't say it, who gonna say it, man?
But from there, I evolved and expanded even more, and I got real grounded in community. When you see me, you don't see me. You always see someone else, i.e. my beautiful niece. But I'm all about the connection and leveraging that. So that's what I'm on now, of just in a nutshell, just to introduce myself.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So, before we get into the mentorship, like I said, back to the childhood days. Like I said, you grew up in Valdosta, grew up in Warner Robins. What about your childhood or just your upbringing really impacted how you view the world, or just your interaction with people and why community is so important? Was there like something that stood out to you, a moment in your childhood, or just the day-to-day of what you're seeing? Like you said, your pops was a big influence. Was he kind of like you before you and you followed in his footsteps? Because what I've learned, when people are like really in tune with something, is for one or two reasons. Either it's because I saw somebody else do it that I really liked, or I saw somebody not do it, and now I want to do it.
Yeah.
So was there something in your childhood that made you that you remember? I mean, if it's not, it's not. I don't need you to force an answer. But
Nah, you good.
But was there anything stand out growing up?
Overall, you just said it, no cap. You right. The representation I had, my mom and my dad. My mom, Monique Brown. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really a family guy. So those two, the community that they had, the entire, from me being young, high school days, college to where I'm at now, they always built that type of community. If they didn't have it, someone else did. If they didn't have it, they had it for them. So that was really one of the biggest infrastructures with my method of thinking now. Just, you can't lose in that particular way from my viewpoint, because you always will have someone, but they were a representation of that. So me being young, growing up and trying to reach for more, I thought I could do a lot by myself. I thought I could. I'm not gonna lie, because I knew I had it. I was confident, but I realized my reach can be more impactful, and I can have a larger impact if I do leverage or collaborate with others. And so their representation of leaning in on others kind of just fell off on me. But that was one of the biggest impacts. That right there, no lie.
What do you think is the biggest issue that stops people from becoming basically like you? Like,
I got you, my guy. The answer's right here. Here we go. I'm just playing. But for me, my perspective, pride.
I was about to say ego kills it.
There you go, brother.
Just the ego
That's it.
of walking up.
That's it, brother. That's it.
And just acknowledging somebody else may know a little bit more than you in that category. But for you, like I said, you always sought out the answers. You never was, like you said, I mean, we all human, so you can't pretend everybody don't have at least an ego to a certain extent. We
That's
all
true.
feel like we something. But to put it in check and be like, yeah, I'm good at what I'm good at, don't mean I'm good at what you good at. Tell me what you good at. That's something that I acknowledge and salute you for. And like I said, I don't want to put too much on my guy right here because he got his own video coming, so we don't want him to talk too much. But the reason I brought him here is because, like you were saying, like ego. This guy right here, like I said, the guy, I love to give him his flowers. He didn't have an ego. He reached out to me, showed me nothing but love. come to find out later on, he know more than me about the stuff we doing. It's just putting your ego in check and saluting people who are doing something that you think you can come in on. So I gotta ask because it just flows in line. Because again, like-minded people. This is like I said, building connections. Y'all crazy. Y'all from both from Valdosta. But as far as from you, and like I said, we don't want to take too much away from your own video.
Sure.
What makes you do that as well? Because both of y'all do this, reaching out to people, talking to people. What put you in that mindset of being willing to do that?
Upbringing. My mom, businesswoman, sold Mary Kay. I used to have to go to the stores with her and everything. I'm ready to go. She out here finding customers in the store. Like, we in the store for like 2-3 hours. We only really came to get one thing. So it's like network.
I gotta ask, because both of y'all from Valdosta. Is this just like the vibe? Well, you grew up in Valdosta. We claim you from Warner Robins. We claim
all right, respect. 478.
Yeah,
we got
478.
to. It's only right.
We gotta claim them.
It is. I like it.
But I guess the energy from Valdosta is that, because I personally haven't been to Valdosta. Right. Is that the energy there? Is it more community based, or what is the energy in Valdosta? Because both of y'all from Valdosta.
I'll let you go first, brother.
Say,
rock out.
Yeah.
Rock out.
I'll say this, Valdosta is a college town.
Yes.
It's based off sports. It dominate the area.
That is a fact.
So even that's from high school to college. Valdosta Lounge, they pretty much good every year.
Yeah.
So even VSU coming off a couple of state championships a few years ago.
Right.
But I feel like because of that, and you say you played football, right?
Yeah.
Did you play that? You played down there too?
Yes, at Valdosta State University.
So you know how the fan base is there.
Yeah. It's very supportive. You gonna feel it. You have no choice but to feel that fan base.
If you do anything else, bro, if you play a sport, that's support, and you pretty good, decent, pretty good. The people, the crowd gonna be right with you.
So let's skip a little bit ahead, not too far ahead, before we get into your adulthood years, because like you mentioned a few times, for y'all who don't know, who aren't familiar with the Middle Georgia area, one of the top talents as far as football went for a while. Needs no introductions. I'm pretty sure your highlights still somewhere that can be found. So
somewhere out there, I think. I don't know.
It gotta be. It's just somewhere. So let's talk about that. Like I said, you was killing it on football, one of the top talents. So as you were finishing up high school, I think you graduated, what, 2010, am I correct?
Yeah, 2010.
What was your mindset? I know you said you were trying to chase the football dreams, and you were talented. So I guess I got to ask, what were we thinking on the football end? How did we end up? I know you went to Albany. I guess I got to ask, and I blame this on Northside, not you.
I heard. That's how it is, my guy. It's a traditional thing, man. Rock out.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna not, because I didn't play football at Northside, so I'm not tied to the team. It was too much top tier talent that I feel like didn't get the opportunities their talent should have afforded them coming out of Northside at that time. So as far as offers, because you should have had some offers.
A whole lot of them guys, my guy. Let me stop. Go ahead, bro.
What was your mindset in picking a school at that time? And why did we end up at Albany? Because I'm not trying to hype you.
No, you good, my guy.
I've seen a lot of talents. Respect, no disrespect to those talents. Go to big schools that weren't half as good as you. Just be honest.
Respect.
So why did we choose? Was it? And some people just want a smaller school. Did you choose a small school, or is that coming out what was available to you?
Nah, that comes out of not understanding the platform and situation I was currently in. That was what happened with that. That's just point blank, period. A lot of schools, you already know, a lot of schools had their attention toward me, but the reality was my family and the people who were around me, that just wasn't something that we had a clear understanding of. I think I was Division II eligible, but not Division I eligible. I think I was dual seal, career tech and college prep at the time, something of the sort like that. I wasn't in a position to qualify, I guess, for D1. But that's something that was,
For my student athletes who running into that, because I don't know.
Respect. I don't know if they have that now, though. Okay. My guy, the game, listen, they done fixed some stuff. Or they observed and saw some things. It looks as if it's smoothed out, but that was just my personal situation, For me, I love the game of football. I ain't going to hold you. That changed my life. That's how I got the opportunity that I got in Brazil was by way of football. So I changed my method of thinking. I didn't really too much care that I didn't go to a huge school. I always had a message to push. And that's what I realized, like I said, it was more to football. Football was something that I was crazy good at, but it was one of those things that I knew it was.
It was
more for
always
me.
something to leverage.
Yeah.
And that was my question, because like I know you calculating everything you do, so that's why I was like, I know your talent could have took you.
Nah, that's
any
a
way
fact.
you wanted
No,
to.
you right
But
though, bro.
That's why I was like, I knew it was a game plan in there, and that was my question. At 18 years old, what was the game plan? Because and maybe obviously
Oh,
the
boy,
18-year-old mind isn't as intricate as the mind now, so it
Yeah.
maybe wasn't as full on steps like it might be now. But
Yeah.
what was the mission? I guess coming at 18 years old, about to graduate, what was on your mind?
I'm gonna be honest, nothing. I didn't have anything on my mind but the cosmetics of where I was at in that moment. I liked how everything felt. Magazines, people hollering at you saying what's popping. No cap, that is a beautiful thing to have. However, made my vision blurry on the foundation of where I needed to go and how I needed to get there. The how was more important than the what. How am I going to get there, right? So I didn't have a plan, but I'll be vulnerable enough to let you know signing day. Ooh, that was a different moment, signing day.
Talk to us about it
I
real
had
quick.
the hype, right? Everybody rhyming. Boy, where you going, my boy? Oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait to sign a day for you. But signing day, I didn't sign nowhere, my guy. You know, I'm seeing my fellow friends sign, and that was I was happy, genuinely. But it was one of those things you got people asking, dang bro, where you going? Dang bro, you ain't signed nowhere? No, I didn't. I didn't have any particular schools watching me, anything of that nature, and that was something that I always thought always coming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that was me living that cosmetic type situation.
So to make sure I got clarity, you telling me on signing day you didn't have an offer?
No, none of that. Oh, reality Steve,
Oh.
don't it, boy? But that's something
This is crazy.
That's
somebody,
reality, right?
That's why it's crazy how I framed this question to make it clear. He had the talent. So
Yeah,
it's crazy how it
that's
came
a
around.
fact.
I would assume he had crazy offers. And you told me on signing day you didn't have not one offer. And again, I'm going to go on record, like you said, as an 18-year-old, maybe you weren't taking the opportunities and utilizing them the best.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're 18 years old. You don't even...
True.
There should be adults in place helping you. There should have been a you at that time going in a young man's ear, like,
man,
hey,
I can
bro,
respect that.
understand the talent you got.
Yeah.
Everybody don't get this opportunity. Take this a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
I blame, and again, because it's not just you. I can name 10 to 15 players from Northside.
That's
Some
a
of them could have played professionally. At the bare minimum, some of them should have played in college.
Yeah.
That didn't go there, and not to disrespect Northside. I graduated from Northside. I love Northside. I bleed.
You from the
I'm from the north.
there
I
we
can,
go.
That's why I can say this.
Yeah,
I can say this to somebody who truly loves the school, but I love the people from the school more.
Yeah.
It's something that people say about Northside. They love you till you graduate. They need you on the field, but after that, I don't. And I think that's changed because that became something big, and I think they started really taking in the heed that and doing more serious things about it. But at Northside around that time, the goal was to put you on the field. As far as what you did after you could get on the field for them, I don't feel like enough time was provided to those students to really know the options because it was too much D1 talent going to JUCOs. And again, that might be grades, but even then, that falls on the people in charge. Like, hey, man, you know you got the talent, but you ain't got the grades. So we need to get you in line. That's where mentorship comes from. That's where there should have been somebody in the ear. If it's not from the school, it should have been from somebody else. Bro, you need to lock in, bro. You about to miss opportunity. Half these people can't even get. And you about to just pass it along because you doing other things that's not as important. But it's crazy to hear you had no offers on signing day.
So, bro, and I'm glad we went there with this conversation because it's something that, like what you just said, you know, you have the fan base, and I want to give a disclaimer for one. I love Northside.
Absolutely.
The lessons I learned from that stint back to back, that you couldn't make that up at the time. You know, it was amazing talent. I am who I am. The man, leadership-wise, today was through that system. That leadership, as far as coaching, I give them all respect. Nothing to say about that. For me, it's more of a perspective of understanding, like what you just said, the emotional weight it has on you when you're wrapped up and cheered and praised for a talent that you have. But if you don't meet a certain expectation afterwards, the support slightly dwindles. You know, that's fair, right? That's respect. That's just a
fact.
perspective.
That is
that's
a
just
fact.
a perspective, you know. But that's kind of how I felt in that particular moment. But there's nothing wrong with that at all, as far as why I felt it. For me, it's one of those things of me understanding and coping with the reality of that's something that may needs a little concern, a little looking into. As far as after if someone is after football, someone does need some type of support, you lend that type of hand, or you know, find some type of option to give in a supportive way, and not just, you know, forget about that person even if they don't reach that particular type of, you know, expectation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, talk to us about signing day. We have no offers. Clearly, you went to college.
So did.
What
Yeah,
exactly?
yeah.
What exactly happened? And like I say, we'll speed up this part a little bit just so we can get to the mentorship portion. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
respect.
think we just put a clear line between what we needed to.
Yeah.
Whether that was a part of your reasoning to start a mentorship or not, I feel like it fell right in line with what needed. Because again, there was a gap there.
Yeah,
that-
it was. I feel
I
it.
mean, with all due respect, I'm not gonna say you fell through the gap because that would mean you didn't achieve what you was meant to achieve. You still did, but everybody isn't as strong on their own. So for as many Brandon Browns we have that found another way, everybody didn't have that opportunity to find another way. I mean, let's be real. We from the north side.
Yeah.
We know people who didn't. Like, you was a superstar in high school, and then after high school, you just tell us you was a superstar in high school. Like, that's really where your story kind of ends at.
Respect.
Whether fairly or unfairly. But you found another route. So what was that route? How did we end up in college? How did we end up, like I said, you started at Albany, you went to Valdosta. How did these things come to play? Again, talking no offers on signing day.
So with that, it was one of those things of that's where that entertaining the facade, for me, this is my perspective, this is my reality. For me, I was entertaining that hype, you know, that hype of, oh, where you signing, where you signing? So I kind of had to look for something. At least that's how I felt like I had to do, right? But I was like, yo, bro, I don't have no real offers. You know, I had a couple offers here and there, but nothing that I really wanted. So it was like, cool, let me still go to school. So I applied to Albany State because I'm like, hey, it's right there. Boom. But I didn't even know if I got accepted or not from Albany State as I was graduating. Gee, I ain't have nothing. I didn't know where I was going.
So from what you're telling me, it sounds like, did you walk on at Albany State, or did you have a scholarship offer that you just didn't want to take at first?
So no, I actually walked on at Albany State University, right? I was getting recruited by them. So how it happened was I was getting all these offers at one time, right? You know, I'm getting all these offers, so I'm like looking at all these big schools, and like, oh, it's not. But I was more interested in those type schools. Albany State was hitting me up. They was recruiting me, but, you know, I never really gave it any attention. But then when I needed them, I hollered at them. You feel me? But they ain't pick up.
A little too late. back then you didn't want me.
So it was one of those things like, all right, forget it. Man, I'm finna go walk on. Yeah, I already know what's up. I already know I'm finna go crazy. Man, let me go take it. It's cool. Bet. So I did the walk on first day. I think it was a 2-day tryout or whatever. Boom, did the first day. It was done. From there, they called me, boom, made the team. The play worked. But played there for 2 years. I started my sophomore year. That's when I started. It was at cornerback, though. I played free safety at Northside, and then I changed to cornerback when I went to Albany State. That was a different position. It was slightly different as far as responsibilities, but from there, I was like, look, man, I'm finna transfer to Valdosta State just for opportunity purposes. But I had to walk on with Valdosta State, though. I couldn't really, I ain't had no offers. So
hold on. When you killed it in high school, didn't have no offers.
None.
We did walk on to college, kill it in
Yes.
college,
Yes.
no offers.
None.
And we tell me we got to walk on again.
Again, bro, start this whole thing right over. So with that was a little different because Valdosta State was a completely different type of dynamic.
But also they be on the, like, what they call them, Title Town, am I correct?
Facts. 2012, they won the national. This was around that time. 2012, they won the national championship, right? Boom. That year, I set out from Albany State. I was a regular. I went to school, and that was it. I didn't play on the football team. I quit the team.
Did you quit because you knew you went? Because at that time, it ain't like now. If you watch college football, you could just leave. Back
Yeah.
then, that was still during. You got to sit out a year. Was that the same down there, or that you just didn't want to play that year? Like,
Well, it was that was something I just said I had to figure it out. I didn't know what school I wanted to transfer to. But then that's when I spoke to my aunt, and he was like, "Yeah, you good." You feel me? But then it was out of Georgia Southern, I think Mississippi State, and then Valdosta State came. Mississippi State, that process was a little different. Georgia Southern was a green, reasonable choice for me to rock out with, but that situation with VSU was just it felt very good. So rocked out with Valdosta State, but this how I got on though. I got accepted to the school because of my grades. Remember this foundation. I got accepted to the school because of my grades. I did the rest. Meaning I went to the field house, told them who I was, and said what this was gonna be like. Meaning, hey, I'm trying to come on as a cornerback, X, Y, and Z. Here's my film. We played against Valdosta State the year prior. We lost, but I did do my thing. so you know, they already got the film. You know who I am. My work, my action. That was the only thing that spoke for me. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have anybody to look to. I just came in and presented the work ethic that I can provide. So the first day I went in there, they looked at my paper or whatever I gave them and said, "We'll be back." They went to the back room, right? They never came back, child. The boy had me in there just waiting, my boy.
how long you sat in there before you realized they weren't coming back?
45 minutes, child. 15 minutes of grace period. But nah.
Hey, after about 30
Hey,
minute, you like, I don't want to leave now because they got to be coming back
And
soon.
I'm being very authentic because this is the reality. Remember, I didn't have anything to pull from. I had to start it up from scratch. I had to get my own campaign sparking off of my own work ethic. Had to figure it out. But, you know, that's something I had to sacrifice. Hey, Holmes swerved me. He don't know who I am.
And this was at Valdosta?
This was at Valdosta. This was 2013. That's when I first tried to knock on the door to get on the team. So what happened was I came that whole week. That was Monday when he denied me. Tuesday I came back. Wednesday I came back. That Wednesday they was like, all right, they finally watched the film.
But you telling me you sat there 45 minutes and they didn't even watch the film on you?
Nah, my boy, because it was different people every time I came.
Oh.
But to get what though? By that Thursday, they knew who I was though. I ain't even had to say nothing. They said, go on, sit down.
You know the
I
coach
got
was, man, hey, man, this dude keep coming by. Cause you know the coach probably tried to play you in the back room, man. I had a dude sitting there 45 minutes, never even watched the tape on him.
So I'm about to tell you, he did just that. He played me, my boy. I'm going to tell you who told me though. We had a custodian worker. I forgot, I believe it was Miss Smith. I got to correct Miss Williams. So she was doing her due. She came in and see me sitting there chilling. And she was like, baby, who you here for? I said I was here for Coach X, Y, and Z. You know, he said he went to the back to go check my film. She looked at me and said, baby,
I'll go home.
that boy in the gym working. I'm not lying to you. This is authentic. I'm not capping, right? This is some authentic situation, right? But no, this is a real thing. Holmes was over there working out. But guess what she did? She said, don't worry, baby. I'm going to give it to the defensive coordinator. He run the whole thing. I was talking to the DB coach. She finna give it to the defensive coordinator. So she went ahead and told him what was up. Next thing I know, Holmes called me. Since they won the national, he got hired to he went to another school. He got another position, promotion. But he left my profile with them, so I got on the team that way. Holmes said, spring practice start, X, Y, and Z, pull up. And I pulled up. That's what it was.
That's dope. And I got to commend you on this story because I don't want it to go over people's heads. You should be figuring this out. But the fact, no offers, high school, no offers, college, no offers, the second college. They didn't even watch your tape.
No, my
But
God.
the only reason you're still in position to even keep going is because your grades.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of stories for people would have ended because you forget student part comes first. Like, if I can't get there off the football, had you not had the grades, you can't even go knock on these doors. For what? You can't even get into this school, bro.
That's a fact, bro.
So the fact that you had your grades in line left you the opportunity to then have the options to at least attempt to go. Because people forget the attempt is sometimes more important than the actual result. Like, you never even know had somebody answer that door if you didn't have the grades to even go to the door. And that's why it's so important what you're doing. Because, again, you're getting in these kids' ears early. Like, you might have to go knock on the door. But make sure if they open that door and talk to you, that the conversation don't stop with, well, what your grades look like? Oh, never mind. Like, you sat out here for 45 minutes. You can't even get in this school.
That's a fact, bro.
But that's dope. So, you get to spring practice, you get on the team, you start killing it. Because how long, what you played? I'm assuming 2 years at Valdosta?
Yep, I did 2 years at Valdosta State.
So, obviously, you graduating. What was the goal at that point? Did you want to, like you said, you want to do professional things? So was the goal? Had you switched yet to trying to
Boy, I'm about to
think
keep
of
this so
mentorship?
funky with you, my boy. I'm about to keep it so real. So in that space, I really was just learning about my want or passion for mentoring, right? The skill set of mentoring, being someone's mentor, helping someone else, guiding them to another level. That was new to me, but I was figuring it out. You know, I was speaking at different schools, volunteering at different schools.
Did you start this during Valdosta? Like when did we start? Because like I said, I've seen you sitting in front of schools. Did this start taking place at Valdosta, or when did this start taking place?
At Valdosta State. That's where it started. And here's the funny thing. I went to Kenny Moore. He's a starting cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts. I played with him at Valdosta State. He was the other corner. He was a starting corner when I was at free safety. His sister, I believe, was working at a school in Valdosta. I can't remember the school, but she invited us to come and read to the or speak to the kids. So when he was like, "Hey, my sister doing this X, Y, and Z, pull up," and we went to go speak, and I was a little nervous and whatnot, but after everyone actually was a little nervous, but after we started speaking, it felt good, man.
So you didn't even want to be a motivational speaker. It was just one of those. It just, hey, come talk. Like,
I did not. That wasn't something that I saw myself doing. This was just something natural. If you come to me, I'm naturally going to try to help you reach or get to where you're looking to get to. That just was something that was authentic, But that moment right there, speaking, in that particular moment, that really got me with my eyes open, seeing, hey, it's something bigger than what I think, So yeah, that was that moment.
So again, we graduating. Have we? Because you started doing the speaking. Obviously, you liked it because you started doing it as you're graduating.
Yeah.
So we're playing football at a high level. We're speaking, doing engagements at a high level. Time to graduate. Was one foot in mentorship already, or was we still like, I think I'm going to the league? Like, where was we at that point?
Yeah, perfect. So boom, that was the pivot for me. So yeah, it was one of those things, in and out. So I worked at Johnny G's Fun Center. Y'all know what time it is, bro. I was the janitor at Johnny G's. Let me stop playing. I would clean up what's happening. But do you remember? I know you remember Johnny G's.
Of course you remember Johnny
brother.
G's,
Come
man.
on, man. But, so yeah, after I graduated from Valdosta State, boom, I slid right into, that was my job when I was in college. I went right back to it. It was a good foundation. The people there was beautiful, it was like family. So I leveraged being around that environment with the youth. I leveraged that and that's when I created the 4-way mentoring. I already was around people who were mentoring and, we had the youth leagues and things of that nature. I was already around that environment. So I just leveraged that to as far as push my mentoring. But I still was chasing my dream with football. Because at the time, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know if I wanted to go professional or not. So it was one of those things I was doing what I always knew I was good at doing, but I was slowly finding a passion for something a little different. So that's what that's where I was at after I graduated from Valdosta State. I had to make a decision. I really was finding myself, but still,
So what ultimately flat out made you, because like you said, you kind of gray area. Was there a certain moment or a certain time that it just clicked like, all right, this is what I got to go do now. I can't keep standing in the middle. I got to go one way or the other.
Yeah. I believe it was the moment where I was a PE coach for CME Church. I want to make sure I'm saying it right, but if you guys know the church, I was on summer school. I was a PE coach, man. And it was a lady by the name of Miss Brendalyn. She is a teacher at Northside High School. When she hired me, I had to interview to get the position, right? When she hired me, I was like, dang. But I was working with like 80 young kids, my boy. But once I started seeing them listening to me, once I just saw the impact, because it was hard. I'm not going to cap. That was the hardest thing ever. Dealing with little kids, but finding a way to approach them, it was challenging. But once I saw how they were like happy to see me when I came in, the impact I had, for me just struggling but doing it in an authentic way for the better good of them, it was like, yo, all right, you got something there, my boy. What you gonna do with it? So that was the momentum. That's when I was able to gather myself and just figure that out.
Gotcha. And that was just a rough, what around year was that?
2016 to be exact.
Perfect. That's the exact year I needed us to be in, because in 2016,
yes, sir.
That's when you officially started your mentorship, the four-way mentoring in 2016. So one thing I really liked that I kind of want you to touch on about your mentorship is your mission statement, man.
Okay.
Because people hear four-way mentoring, it's a lot of companies who just like have a name. You're like, hey, what's your name for?
Yeah.
I just liked it. Like, ain't no real meaning behind it.
Yeah.
But yours actually had one. So before we get into your mission statement, I just want you to tell the people as far as what does the name of it, because you got the 4 ways. It's dream, believe, achieve, and repeat as far as step to success. Right. Talk to the importance of each step, because obviously you lived it before you ever put it into place.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to be very honest. When I did that, where I was at in life, that was the foundation. That was the basics, right? Now where I'm at, the gaps have been filled in tremendously. But dream, you have that vision, you have that urge to do something. You know you feel it, right? You feel it. Nobody else knows this one vision, only you do. You know what I'm talking about. You feel that. This right here, my G. You know what I mean? The dream is right here in your face. So dream. It started in your method of thinking, right? It started as a vision, something you felt, something you said, oh, I see it, let me go get it. Believe. It's the belief system of, hey, that will to move forward, right? I believe in this vision so much so that I'm going to continue to move forward no matter what hurdle, no matter what devastation or disaster that may be in my way. Operating in the midst of chaos, being effective in the midst of chaos, that's the belief. Keep going. The achieve system, you got to put that action in. Point blank, period. Nothing else to say after that. Achieve. We got to put that action in. This is what I want. I got to show and be present for what that is. Right? Repeat. Run that play again, my guy. Run that again.
When it's done, start over. Get back to work at it. Now, that's a fact. And your mission statement, which I really like, I'm going to read it for the people. So hopefully, if you're looking for mentorship, like maybe this will speak to you like it spoke to me. It said, our focus is to deteriorate the common act of becoming a product of your environment by helping our youth discover their true gift and talent. Now, that's so important to me because it speaks to the ultimate issue of people, regardless of where you're from, regardless of your color. It just speaks to people not reaching their potential, man. And that's sometimes due to their mindset or their belief that, you know, I'm only as good as where I come from. Because like you said, deteriorating, becoming a product of your environment. And it's a quote that I've seen that really, like, when I heard that, it stuck with me. It said, you know, you're born looking like your parents' decision, but you'll die looking like your own. Yeah. And that's deep because,
like that.
You know, people get too comfortable in the known. And nobody ever wants you to go out into the unknown. Like, so you'll stay, like, just speak from the north side. You'll live on the north side. Your dad lived on the north side. Your grandma lived on the north side. So as far as you know, you're going to follow those steps. And guess where you're going to end up? On the north side. It's safe. We know what to expect here. That's all we need.
You said that.
But with your mentorship program, you're showing people, don't get me wrong, love the north side to death. But you ain't got to stay here, bro. You can go somewhere else. It's okay to, like, see if there's other options that you might like best. Now, if you go out there and you don't like them and you want to live on the north side, by all means, at least still you had the options. And that's why, like, we speak back to the education. You had the option to go try something else. If you try and, even if you try and fail, at least you know, all right, that wasn't for me. Yep. At least I know now. To me, I'd rather know it wasn't for me than I always wonder if it was.
Respect. Now, I like that. Yeah, that's fact.
And I think that's pretty much what your mentorship program is telling people. Like, yo, you know, if you cool here, that's fine. You know, we ain't, like me with mine. Like, people don't like to be on camera. If you don't like to be on camera, that's cool. But if you ever decide you want to, hit my line. Same way with you.
Yeah, I like that.
If you like the north side, if you like wherever you from, if it's working for you, cool. Well, just, you know, if you change your mind and you want to look at other options, I'm here to support that. Yeah. So how has that, and on the flip side of that, though, like I said, it's always mindset. So as talented as you are in speaking, as motivational as you are and influential as you are as a person, you can't save everybody.
Factual, my guy.
what I would ask, as many kids, if you've reached and you've helped and you've saved, Is there anything common amongst the kids that you either have the most difficulty reaching or that you can't reach at all?
Well, I got you. The biggest thing is the pace. That's the number one thing I get. As we already know, we want it now, right?
Facts.
But once you understand the pace of success, for me, it's gradually then suddenly. Gradually then suddenly. You'll be focusing on that one thing you want, taking those deposits of action gradually, right? Boom. Next thing you know, suddenly that opportunity is there. So that's one of the biggest things that I get as far as just whenever I am speaking to any young professional. That's my expertise. That's who I connect with, young professionals, right? That's the biggest pushback or the biggest concern would be just the pace. But that's just my message, is understanding the gradually piece. Because that gradually, that's when you got to put that work in. But yeah, overall, that's like the biggest thing that I do get.
Dope. So, and like your mentorship has kind of taken over. Like I said, you got exclusive mentorships at a bunch of schools in Middle Georgia. I'm pretty sure you other places as well. But one place that stuck out to me.
What's that?
You know what I'm about to say.
What's that, man? Holla at me.
This is for the people who don't know. He shut down Warner Robbins. This is the guy for mentorship in Middle Georgia. But this isn't statewide or even countrywide program. This is a worldwide mentorship.
Yeah, right.
Speak to how we ended up in Brazil and the impact that you've had over there. Like this is legitimately you in Brazil. Like
we in there we was there for a whole year too. But to tie back in, like when we talked about with football, that opportunity came for me to play in Brazil. It was a paid opportunity. I was like, hey, you know what? Why not go? This is something I can be exposed to that I can never get in Warner Robins or just the area that I was at, being honest, right? That was my reality. So I was working at Johnny G's Fun Center, if y'all remember. They closed down in 2016. I did not have a job.
It's been that long?
Boy, I'm telling you, my boy, it was a minute ago, right?
I felt like they was still up not like a few years ago.
I'm telling you. So I had that job for 9 years. And they closed on you, boy. That was my only little situation. You feel? I was getting paid from speaking, but at that time I just started. I was finding my rhythm.
Yeah.
I was doing everything for free to keep it a buck. But at some situation they'll give me, they'll gonna pay me or whatnot. But that was my main situation because it was part time. I can still travel and go play and do what I have to do. I was playing arena football at the time in Albany, Georgia, the Georgia Firebirds. I was playing arena football, and then boom, still working. But speaking to like CFL teams and all that other stuff, just keeping myself primed, But when that shut down, it was like, yo, all right, cool. What I'm finna do? So I went and applied at Longhorn Steakhouse in Macon, Georgia. Then I applied for Old Navy right there, by Walmart, in that shopping plaza. And then I was doing my mentoring. Mentoring was established at Sirius Academy by way of Life League Coalition of Jeff Tarver. I'm not sure if you know him or not, but he's a professor at Middle Georgia State University, and he had that program first when he recruited your boy with the mentoring tip. He seen my program. My dog, I just started. I ain't had nothing really on paper yet. So we met, and he was like, look, man, I want to give you this opportunity. So we did some business. I was a part of the team. I was the official mentoring department of that program. And then we did the booking with Sirius Academy. Every Monday, I mentored there. And the lessons I learned, it was from, I think it was 6th grade or lower, 3rd grade on up to 8th grade. No, 3rd grade up to 8th grade, I believe. But it was one of those things. It was a challenge. So I was working every Monday at Sirius Academy, Old Navy, and Longhorn. I got hired at all of them positions. It happened for me.
I got like 6 jobs at one time.
My boy, it happened for me. I was happy. However, during that, me having those 3 jobs, that's when I got the offer to go to Brazil. I said, you know what? I'm finna take that. I'm finna go and stamp that, man. I'm finna stand on business.
Dope.
Let me go rock out. So, boom. I didn't leave until I think May or something of the sort. I'm picking the month. I can't remember.
That's fine. We ain't holding you to the month.
Yeah. Until I got to the day of me leaving or whatnot, I was stacking my money because at the time I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't have all of that there. So I had to figure it out. So Mondays was my most challenging days. I had to mentor at Sirius Academy. That was at 5:30 p.m. No, 5 p.m. It was an after school program. So no, 4 p.m. So boom. That morning though, 7:30 a.m. I do the trucking at Old Navy. Boom, 7 to 12, part-time little situation. Then I'll go work a shift at Longhorn, drive right down the street. I transferred from the one in Macon to the one in Robbins. So I left from Old Navy, went on right down, past Lowe's and all that Walmart, bust that right, and went on down where Academy Sports at Longhorn. Boom, went to work. After that, did my shift, went right back to the crib and slid to Sirius Academy and did my mentoring with the kids. That's Monday. But that whole situation in general really got me to focus and realize, hey, if you really want to get to where you want to be as far as Brazil, put that work in, stack up, and get to where you want to be. So fast forward, I got the opportunity to quit all my jobs when that time came because I stacked my money up the way I needed to. And that day I called Old Navy manager and told him, hey, I'm going to Brazil, G. I love you. I called Longhorn and said, hey, my G, it was a pleasure working with y'all, but I'm about to go ahead and quit. It was a vulnerable feeling because at that I ain't have nothing else but that. That had to work. Flying to Brazil, everything had to work. I had no foundation. That was just pure me wanting to get somewhere. And so that was the scary part. But yeah, that was that piece as far as.
Dope. So we get to Brazil. Of course, without a doubt, no disrespect to Brazil football. We knew you was going to kill it. It just ain't even fair over there.
So look, bro, I ain't going to hold you. That was a shock to me, bro. I'm going to be honest. My agent threw it to me, and I was like, at that time, I still was waiting for certain things to clear up and all that. So I was like, it's going to work out. Why not? You know, I just need to get in rhythm and stay in shape. So I'm like, I'm finna get paid to do this. Let me rock. It made sense. But I always knew what I was going to do with that opportunity, too. I ain't just play football when I got down there. It was one of them things, I brought my mentoring organization, or I spoke to schools. I wanted to reach out. I had a plan on how I wanted to leverage this opportunity. So, but to your point, I was like, football, you talking about soccer, G? Like, what we talking about? But he was like, nah, they had American professional football there for 10 years. I said, what? Are they like, is it competitive? He said, yeah. Boom, boom. But of course, it's like, that's not their native sport.
Yeah, so it's like something to do.
My boy, that's something to do. And I went down there and went crazy as far as
I said that probably was
my dog.
That's probably the least important part of that story, what you were doing in Brazil.
My dog, I just had fun as far as the experience, dog. It's something to do. Like what you said, is like going to Brazil. That was my something to do. You know, I'm finna slide to Brazil. And it was something of, at that moment in time, nothing mattered but the opportunity.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I didn't care about the pedigree or the quality, or I didn't too much worry about as far as what would come from this. I just needed that opportunity, dog, because I'm from the 478 north side of town. I've never been to Brazil.
That's a flex in itself. We didn't even know. We didn't have to go over there and play football. You could have just told us you went to Brazil. Oh, snap, he in Brazil? That's a flex in itself. We ain't actually know. I don't need to know none of your stats in Brazil. The fact that you was in Brazil is enough. But in Brazil, how, like you said, you were reaching out to the schools. Was it different trying to connect with those kids? Because again, you didn't like, here in Middle Georgia, you grew up, you kind of went through these same situations maybe some of these kids have. Brazil, it's a different
culture,
it's different culture.
Everything different.
How were you able to connect to those kids in Brazil, not really having I guess a similar background to them?
Yeah. So, side note though, right? With this team, I was able to bring one of my best friends, the Foulays. You know Foulay DC.
Of course, that's my guy.
That's my best
the OG
friend.
right there.
That's my best friend, man. Shout out to my Foulays. What's happening? But my best friend Travis, T-Boy, he was able to come with me, but his contract, they just didn't pay him. He said, cool. Because like I told him, like, bro, I was going on, it's like, hey, fam, I'm getting paid to go to Brazil to do what I love. I'm saying, hey, fam, what you want to do was popping. They said they got a slot for you. They just not going to do commission. And that's cool. So he was like.
So he came over there for free though?
My dog, no, he just had to pay his own ticket.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So
Cool,
basically,
cool.
that was a part of my
Yeah.
deal, my G. That was a part of the deal.
Okay.
I was like, hey, I got it. Y'all looking for this position. I got XYZ. Check him out. You don't got to pay him. He's there for the opportunity type situation. But I said that's going to be a part of what we doing. If you want me, we got to sneak that in there. So
That's love, and that go back to community, putting your people in
There it is.
positions. That's the same. Not to get off topic with me. When people call me, I be like, "Yo, you want me to come? Okay, I'll come." Like I do stuff like cause like I'm gonna keep it real. Let's I guess not hide behind politics or trying to sound nice. People will call me not because. Like they'll call me. You'll have an event. You'll call me not
what's
because
up,
you
my boy?
necessarily want me. You
Yeah.
want to talk to be nice. So I'll be like, okay, cool. You want me to
yeah.
come to your event? Yo, this is what I'll do. I'll come for free, but you gotta hire my camera team.
Now that I like
you
that,
gotta hire
my
my
boy.
camera team.
I
You gotta
like
hire my
that. I love
photographer. You gotta hire X, Y, and Z. Gotta come with me, and I'll do it. And if you don't want to, I tell everybody we both doing business or we both showing love. So if you be like, yeah, bring a team. I got them. I'll look out for them. Whatever. Okay, but I have some people say no. You don't want to do that. All right, well, this is my price now. And guess what? My price gonna be so high that if you pay it, guess what I'm gonna do?
What's that?
They still coming. We just taking either you can pay them at a lower price,
Yeah.
or you can pay me and I'm gonna pay them, and we still all gonna be
still
there.
gonna eat regardless. I like that.
how you did that. It's like, yo, I'll come over there for y'all for this, but you gotta bring my mans. Like,
Yeah,
this
and
how
it was
go.
respect though.
Yeah.
It was respect. Like he just came to me when I told him about the opportunity. We chopped it up, and he was like, "Hey, we spoke on the possibilities of this happening, and we just ran the play. At this point, why not? We ain't had nothing to lose."
All right, so we in Brazil. You killing it. Did we speak to how you were able to connect to the kids?
Oh, okay, cool, got you. So the biggest thing was I had to do a translator. So whenever I spoke to the different high schools, I wrote down 5. It was 5. 5 high schools and 2 universities. But as I was speaking, the university, it was an English class. It was a DeVry. Yo, it was yes. DeVry. Now I'm not capping to you. I'm gonna show you the video. I was on tour. I got my little DeVry shirt. I got a DeVry Brazil shirt. But they spoke. It was an English class. So whenever I did speak to their students, I didn't have to have a translator at that point. It was smooth. They was learning and they saw a different way of speaking English, so that was smooth. The universities, but high schools, I needed a translator. So it was my pace. It was hard for me to speak in that particular moment, but connecting to them, it was all authentic. Love, man.
Did
Love.
translator? Did anything ever get lost in translation?
I'm pretty sure, brother.
I was saying, like,
I'm pretty sure, brother. I'm being honest. It was the most difficult thing possible, but that's why I said passion was the only thing that drove me, man. Like, even after I spoke, they cheering, so I'm like, maybe she said it right.
Maybe I
she
hope
said
so.
it like
I guess I never
needed her
know,
to.
but I hope so.
But afterwards, once you get done speaking or whatnot, they come and they, talk to you, hug you, and I'm able to translate some things, showing them that perspective of love, man. So they see that, hey, I'm here. Like, it's an authentic moment for you guys. It's just creating that
That's
for
dope.
them. But it was challenging. I will tell you that. It was very challenging. They speak Portuguese in Brazil.
See, I ain't know that.
I thought it was Spanish when I first went
I ain't
over. I'm
gonna
being
front.
honest. I'm not gonna cap you down. I thought it was Spanish.
I thought it was Spanish too. Or I might be ignorant. I don't even know if this is a language. When you said I thought they spoke Brazilian. Like, I don't even know if that's the language.
Well, nah, you went too far off. I'll give you that. But they spoke Portuguese, so we was able to learn enough to maneuver. But it was tough, because you want to portray this message of passion, but we don't even speak the same language.
Facts.
So
It's lost.
That's why I was like,
That's what genuine vibes and energy come in. Like, I don't know what you saying, but I know whatever you saying, you mean what you saying, bro. Yeah.
And a lot of that they really are comforting. Like, they really are family oriented in that part. It's Pernambuco, that's northeast Brazil. They said Pernambuco is more like how we are with our southern charm. So it was a lot of that, man, Dad, you hungry? They was very, very, very loving, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. It was beautiful. But overall though, when it comes to just the connection piece, when we got to actually speak to the people or the Brazilians who spoke English, they felt us. That really let us know that, okay, cool, they understand how we coming. But the director who helped me assisted with me with bringing this whole thing with four-way mentoring. She spoke English. She spoke 3 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, and English. She went crazy. But her name is Idis. She was able to assist her and my friend Douglas. He speaks English. We was able to come together and start the four-way mentoring process. And a lot of that came from the barrier. Because I'm like, yo, it's hard for me to speak to him. You guys understand my vision. You guys understand where I'm going, the objective. Can we assist? And that's how that happened, bro. Community.
That's fire. That's fire. Speaking of community and hard things, just to spin back around to what you were speaking of earlier, how Mondays were your hardest day.
Yes, indeed. Oh,
Mr. Monday.
What's popping, man? What are you doing?
Did that nickname come from those times? Or?
That is exactly where that came from, brother. Mondays. That, like, the position I'm in now, that was one of those things that a prerequisite for me starting. I got to be off on Monday, G. Sunday and Monday is my patterns. Your day doesn't start the day of, it starts the day before. So I need that Sunday too.
That's a fact.
Sunday and Monday. The Glock is loaded. Don't do that. Don't
That's
do
a
that.
fact.
Let me stop. But,
That's a fact.
But yeah, they definitely did come from that. The struggle, bro. It's the lessons I learned. I wanted success so much that I didn't understand my direction. You know, I wanted speed. So I was going somewhere very fast, and I was getting to certain places, but I wasn't happy because I didn't understand my direction on where I needed to go.
You just knew you wanted to get there, basically.
That's it.
And that's the goal, too. I tell everybody, you may not know how to get there, but as long as you know where you want to go, you can figure that out over time, as long as you don't give up. But Action Plan Mondays, now.
Oh, my gracious.
Now, I got a question. Is that built off of four-way mentoring? Because, like, from when I was looking at it, it seems to kind of mirror what you do with the mentorship, but it got a different name. So is it the same? Is it just is it coming off of that, or is it something completely separate? Because it seems like the same goal, but I mean, that's just you.
Yes, yeah, you hit it. So it was four-way mentoring. APM started from the momentum of four-way mentoring. Four-way mentoring was a space of my life that's how I wanted to impact this world, and that's how I wanted to give back. Transition and evolve to something a little different. So four-way mentoring is something completely different from APM. I can tell you more about what APM. APM was really a situation to where of me understanding how to collab with others. Just being quite frank, honest. APM, Action Plan Mondays, is a resource group of doers, right? It's every Monday, 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. we host a call, right? And we've been doing this for 4 years, since 2019.
Oh, that's fire.
This is something that really has helped me grow. But the interesting fact of its original roots, it came from Taco Tuesday, my guy.
Taco Tuesday.
I can't make this up.
Please explain how these two came in line.
My good friend, Miss Nisha. Miss Nisha is a event planner, top in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Go check her out. You feel me? She lived in an apartment complex. She's from the 4782. I don't care what she got to say. She from the 478.
We claiming her.
There it is. But she moved to one of these apartment complexes in Atlanta first. I went and visited. It was dope, so I moved too. So for me moving there, me and Fule, we moved in together. Got that spot. That was a monumental moment at that time. We celebrated. So we said, man, let's have Taco Tuesday. So we had a Taco Tuesday. It was vibing. But then I was like, yo, fam, I don't want to just meet up only for Taco Tuesday, G. What about meeting up for business? What about meeting up and really handling things together and exchanging resources? What about that? And so that's when it just flowed and it became it became Action Plan Mondays. You know, you have Taco Tuesday, so it became that, Action Plan Monday, advising a clear plan on how we can attack our Mondays. I'm going to bring down the spiel. Why Monday? Monday is one of the most depressing days of the week. It's the most dreaded day of the week. You can go to Instagram right now, type in Monday, you'll see everything negative. That's just a fact. It pivots off of the most joyful weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Connotation of man back to work.
There it is. So if that's the most dreaded day of the week, then that means that's what's in the way, right?
Absolutely.
What's in the way becomes the way. Always dress the elephant in the room, so I attack my Mondays.
Don't let that go over y'all head. Don't let that go over y'all head.
So I attack my Mondays. Business-wise, business days. Somebody send you a package, you going to stand on business days, Monday through Friday. Monday is the first day of that though, right? You start your business operations on Monday. If you need to correct escalations, if you need to really send out emails, if you really need to handle business, you need to get started on Monday, G. Some things are time sensitive. That's being mindful as you handle your business. But for me, Mondays have definitely created a large magnitude of structure. But it started from those struggles. You know what I mean? It started for me trying to figure it out. But once I got level, it really helped me learn how to be effective in the midst of chaos. Because at the end of the day, you can have a plan, but just have some breathing room too. Because it may not go as planned, you know? So, yo, that's just that on that.
I like that. I like it. So if somebody wanted to join these phone calls, how do they get into these phone calls?
I love it. So it's private. It's not
So you
even
can't-
open. But I'm gonna tell you why, right? This was something for my development and my team's development. I had to build something before I can open.
Absolutely.
Right, so I had to build a community, man, and it just derives from a lot of childhood friends, a lot of business partners I met on the way through college, a lot of professionals that I respect dearly, that I was comfortable enough to grow with. That's i.e. private. But now I'm in a space to where it's one of those things of expansion, reaching for more, right? Gradually, then suddenly. Suddenly, I have a feel of reaching, you know. But I can't reach if you don't even know me, right?
Absolutely.
So this is the whole purpose of this situation. I do appreciate my brother, but yeah, but it's private right now. But if you do want to jump on the call, you check out my Instagram, Brandon Q Brown. You send me a DM if you want to test it out, whether it's 6 a.m. or 9 p.m. call. Holla at me. I'll shoot you a link. That's what I usually do. I'll shoot you a link. You sit in. You don't got to say nothing. I just ask that you open up your ears, open up your heart, open up your mind, and just allow us to plant a seed of growth. That's all. That's all we have.
Fire.
So,
That's like
yeah.
that's like what I'm doing with, like, I do these real estate classes, credit classes, things like that. Absolutely free. The reason being, like you said, absolutely free. You don't have to, like, even podcasts. You want to learn some information? We got a whole area you can sit off
Thanks.
camera. Reason being, I learned with people, if you give them an excuse or a way to make an excuse, they're always gonna make an excuse. Same thing like that. Yo, I got this information from you. If you want to be on there, you ain't gotta talk. Just come listen.
Pull up.
But if you was like, oh, you gotta join and you gotta talk, there go that excuse they wanted. Well, I would have got on there, but you gonna make me talk and I don't like to talk.
I would have got on, but when you said turn on your camera,
Yeah,
that didn't sit weird with me.
Yeah, so that's
that
why-
didn't sit right in my spirit.
Like, I learned that. So, like, even with me, and again, I get that off the originator. I learned early on, like, of course, you know, I'm in the content business. I would love to have the camera on every time. But I learned, too, you only reach people who like the camera if you do that.
Yeah.
So, the same way, I'm like,
Different
hey,
platforms,
yeah.
you're right.
I'm
You're
like, I
right.
got a real estate
I
class.
like that.
We ain't got no camera in the building. This ain't what we trying to do. We literally trying to give you the information. So, the people who, like, I had a real estate podcast, or I ain't come, bro. You know, I don't rock with the camera.
Yeah.
Ain't no camera here now. What's your excuse?
There
Like,
you
that's
go.
my thing. I always want
Yeah.
to make sure. Eventually, just tell me you don't want to do it.
Just
Just
put,
like-
hey, and so that's the unique thing about it. The group is no charge at all.
That's another thing. I do
None
a lot
of
of
that.
free stuff because
Yeah, that's it.
You can say something, hey, it's $5 a joint. I ain't even got $5 to give you, dog. It's free. What's your excuse now?
There you go. Only thing we asking, only thing is effort. That's it. I'm gonna give you my authentic effort, hold me accountable, vice versa. That's it. Because we all have one common goal, and that's the will for more. That's, for me, the definition of action. That's for me. The will for more, the will to move forward. Because you don't know what's coming your way. Outcast, Andre 3000 said you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather.
That's a fact. And that's the one thing you can give everybody all the tools in the world, but if they don't want it, sometimes they don't want it. Same thing with your mentorship. If they don't want to listen, you can have all the information I can tell you A, B, and C, but if you ain't want to hear it,
That's it. That's it. So, like, in general, but the biggest scope of APM is just that, changing resources. We have 20 members. It's like 9 of us that have businesses. The rest of us are honing in on our personal development. But it's a community with family. But we have APM discounts. So if you leverage business-wise, you get an APM discount. That's a incentive for you to leverage and exchange and collab. But we move off of 5 pillars, 5 pillars of action. Pillar number 1, continuously working towards a goal. What are you working towards? That's it. It's one of those things of, it can be you working towards eliminating a bad habit. That's an action, G, run the play. It can be you working towards having a clear understanding of where you want to go, the impact you want to have in 2023. That's cool, G. Run the play. That's a goal. Always working towards something, right? Prevents you from being stagnant. But number 2, connecting the plan with your vision. We have bandwidth of visions, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Respectfully. Thank you. Now, how do we want to bring that vision to light? What's the plan? I always say having a vision with no plan is like a car with no fuel. It's not going nowhere because you ain't intend for it to, right? We put the fuel in the car when we weren't ready to go somewhere. So that's just that, the mindset of thinking of, hey, you think of that big plan, that big idea, don't forget the plan. Pillar number 3, showing up for your victory, G. You got to show up for what you signed up for, right? That's it. If you signed up for this, you got to be present. That's period. But it's one of those things of, too, understanding that you being present puts you ahead of the game, because you got to remember, people don't show up every day. So if you show up, you already killed 70% of the game from your presence alone, but you got to want it. Pillar number 4, collaboration. Collaborating with people who are gurus in areas that you are amateur. That was for me, right? It was a position to where I was going crazy for a mentor. But it wasn't until I leveraged and connected with Life Lead that my reach got larger. You know, I was able to go to Sirius Academy. I was able to go to Pulaski County Middle School Breakfast Club. I was able to do a lot of things because I collaborated. Put my pride aside. I didn't judge. I didn't compare. I didn't try to see who's better than who. I understood my objective. If you got something that I can activate and I got something too, how can we leverage? Because I want to expand my reach, my guy. I'm going to put my emotions aside. I know in order for me to expand, it takes me to understand who, not how. Who I got to collab with. When you see me, you don't just see me, my guy. You see other people because I'm in tune. I'm locked in. My community is solid. I can't fall. I've been doing right by too many people for too long. And it's one of those things of, I'm going to keep doing that. This world gives to the giver. So pillar number 4, collaborating. If that may be something that may be in people's way as far as them feeling stuck, maybe you haven't collaborated with the right person. Maybe it's time for us to do some self-awareness and reevaluating on, okay, cool. What's stopping me from reaching out to this woman or this professional or this person that can get me in a certain room, a certain opportunity? That's collaboration. Last but not least, pillar number 5, G, replenishment. The more you go vertical, the more pressure that come down. How you gonna leverage? That pressure hit tough, my guy. That pressure hit, and it's all on you. What we gonna do? So for me, I call it me time. It's me. It's time that I purposely give to myself, because I give to a lot of people. I can openly say at one point I was a people pleaser. I said yes more than I said no. I didn't even know what no was, child.
I was the same way.
I give.
It's that gray area where I want. That's something tough that I feel on a spiritual level when you said I was a people pleaser.
Facts, bro.
Because I see so much in people sometimes, and it's so sad that when they don't see it in themselves. That's when you have to learn, and it's tough for me even now, because I see a lot of people, especially with my platform, I can especially, I got a lot of industry ties on the music side, so a lot of dope talents. I be like, hey, bro, I'm going to Atlanta to meet with so-and-so. You should come with me. Yeah. They don't come, or things like that.
Yeah,
and it be the difficulty. I can't want it more than you. Yeah, and that's something I had to learn. I still make the phone call, because I want people to win. Hey, bro, I'm going here. But I ain't going to follow back up with you. If you know I told you I'm going here on this time and you ain't say nothing else about it, okay, he don't want it yet. He don't want it yet. Not to say he won't want it later, but I can't go too deep into trying to force him to want it now, because he's not even going to appreciate what it is until he realizes what it isn't. So that's deep. Like you said, being a people pleaser is so tough sometimes, because we really, when you genuinely want people to win, bro, I ain't getting nothing out of this other than to see you go where I think you should. And it's damn, you still don't want to do it? That hurts at a different level for people.
For me, it was one of those things of, me just ultimately realizing, just keeping it a spade, you got to stand on business. Facts. You got to stand on your boundaries if you want to move healthy, because that's you. You standing on your boundaries is you showing up for you. That's just period. And I learned that not only in my personal life, but also in business too. Healthy business with our own boundaries. You know what I mean? And that's just what that is. But overall, as far as with APM, it brought me to a different understanding of me reaching for more. You know, everybody in that group has leveled up tremendously. Everyone in that group has changed and altered their method of thinking. Everyone in that group fully understands the art of accountability. That starts from you holding yourself accountable in the most authentic way. You holding yourself accountable grants you the authority to hold others accountable. That's just what that is. You are the standard of your demands. What you ask for, you must become.
You can't tell me to do something I know for a fact you're not doing.
That's it. That's one of the biggest quotes when it comes to leadership in general. APM helped me understand that. Helped me be more mindful. Helped me become more self-aware within moving business. But now, you right though, fam. Showing up. You have to be the standard of what you're asking for. If I ask you to do this, you can look at me. You can look at me as the example. Cause that's how serious I am when I ask you to do that. I'm doing it, so what's poppin'?
Yeah, either I did it or I'm willing to do it if I haven't done it.
There it is, G.
That's
That's
how it
it.
is.
That's it, man.
Man, this was amazing, man. You really killed it. I feel like we covered a lot. Obviously, we started. Like I said, I didn't even know you was originally from Valdosta. We learned you from Valdosta, moving to Warner
I don't
Robins.
think a lot of people knew
Yeah,
that.
the football learning, that football thing still shocked me. I was like, I didn't know. But just the football journey in itself, which we could have did a video solely on just the football aspect of what you went through, because I didn't even know all that. Honestly, I wanted to stay a little deeper in there, but you know, the podcast mind, retention mind, hey, bro, you know, you got a certain time frame
you fine,
that you can
brother.
get this video
You good.
in. Don't
good.
stay there too long.
This
That's
ain't
not why
gonna be
you
the
here.
last video, and this is what I'm finna do. I know this ain't a part of your script, but I'm challenging myself. 2023. That's why I brought my niece. This our first time on. Miss Tanaya is a freshman at Peach County High School. Go Trojans! But overall, we do a book club too. APM, right? Your influence is crazy, my brother. I'm going to give you that and let you know, man. I thank you for activating your authentic gift, right? Where we come from, there's not a lot of people who do that. I'm just being honest, right? As far as when I say do that, taking that leap for what you know you feel is inside of you, right? You're just doing the gift and expressing yourself in the way you want to, and you're expressing your dream. But book club, I want to see if we can host a book club together, brother.
Absolutely.
For the ones who cool with, who y'all rocking with reading this, that, and the third, but the impact and the feedback that I've gotten from a lot of people when it comes to these book clubs is A1. But we'll chop it up, man. We'll chop it up. We'll see if we make this happen. That's just a challenge, you know what I mean? For both of us. Like, just coming together and staying consistent on it. We'll see what's happening with that.
Hey, like I say, when you ready, I'm ready. Anything positive, anything community focused, anything that could better somebody. Like I say, the goal, you know, don't get me wrong, I love to reach 100 people every time I did something. Yeah. But if we get one person who leave here a little bit better,
that's it.
It was a successful time. I tell everybody, the value of time is more important than money, anything like that. If my time, I see what happened with that time, then we good. So I feel like that a book club, man, just getting kids. Cause I mean, let's not be funny. Kids don't read like that no more. Or even young adults. I don't even know like what age group you want this book club to be. It doesn't matter. If we hit somebody, one person, no matter who it is, it was worth our time. So most definitely, send me details on that. Let's make something happen. Cool. But even like you said, even having your niece right here, it just further shows mentorship, putting people in places that, you know, maybe they didn't even know they really wanted to be. Like,
that's perfect.
Like, this is showing in the video exactly what you wanted to do. So we can't close this out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're not going. Oh, we're not done. The shining light is on my dog. So let's do this. All I want to do, I'm just gonna ask you three. I'm gonna ask a question. My dog gonna ask a question. All right. I'm gonna go first. Figure out whatever question you want to ask. Whatever.
Yeah. Do your thing.
All right. So, Miss Tanaya, what is your favorite food, Miss Tanaya? What's the favorite food you love? What is that?
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls. You cook them yourself?
Yeah.
So you're a chef. You like pizza rolls and you're a chef. Two things, right? We know that about you.
Sure.
So you really are a chef.
Yeah.
Right there.
Anywho, my boy, what's popular?
So what are your hobby? What are you into? Are you? Because he brought you here.
I brought you here. What's that?
Do you have content creation goals, or is it just like what we trying to do?
Speak to anime. Come on.
Oh,
the views, YouTube.
Are you on YouTube?
I do have a YouTube channel. I have 30,000. I stopped posting for a while because I want to like try
30,000 subscribers or views?
Subscribers.
Oh, you fire. You bigger than me.
One of my videos got like over 1 million views too. Yeah.
Okay,
so let me ask you this then.
What
if you clearly were doing well, why did you stop?
Better question.
I don't really remember. I guess I kind of just like fell out of love with the content I was making before, and I kind of want to just do something different with my channel and with the subscribers I have.
Absolutely, you leverage that into something else. No, that's never a bad thing. Because I tell people too, I'd rather somebody who's in content take a break than force content, because you're gonna lose people. Like, especially with this content game, even 30,000 subscribers is amazing. That's awesome. But I've learned even with this content, you got about 2 bad videos in a row before you lose their attention. If you put out good content, they'll give you benefit of the doubt one time. Like, he just off his game one time.
Yeah.
You do it again, oh, that's just what he doing now. I'm good. Because you gotta know like where you're at. Like 30,000 is awesome on YouTube, especially for somebody local killing it. You're doing amazing. Don't let nobody tell you different. But in the grand scheme of YouTube, let's be honest, we both pretty small, which means our margin of error is small. So we only got out of 30,000 on YouTube, you only gonna keep about 10%. Basically, you got about 30,000, 10% watch your stuff consistently. So you probably got about 3,000 people out of that 30,000 who, no matter what you post, is gonna watch that video. So basically, you got about 3,000 people who will watch you until you do something they don't like. And then the first person, like, all right, and honestly, the first video, you're gonna lose probably about 1,000. So now you're down to 2,000. And after that, you mess up again, you probably down to 1,500 if you're lucky. Like, this is how quick content can go. Like, and that's in anything. Like, I learned that, especially when I got into like social media management and things like that. The goal is always 10%. That's why some people try to raise that number higher, because if you got 30,000, that's 3. But if you got 50,000, that's 5. The goal. So the bigger you go, the more margin of error you have. But even then, still, even with a bigger margin of error, that just means you might have, instead of 2 videos you can mess up on, I might go do 3 now.
You might get a little 3 now.
I might get 3 because it got more people who might support me a little bit more. But when you first get started and you still building that expectation, that standard, when you first get started, you got 1 video. If I click on this 1 video from you and I don't like it, I'm not coming back. It's just not happening. Or if I come back, it's going to be so far from now, it's when I'm seeing you grow. And I'm like, how are they still growing? I seen them before and that was trash. How did they get further? Now they back because, again, the 10% down rolls. So I left your 10%. Now I'm coming back to your 10%. But that comes, again, with putting in work. And, again, that means you probably had good content. But the issue a lot of people have is, instead of just saying, I got this 10%, this 30, they know what I do. This 3 out of 30 know what I do. But I just ain't feeling it right now. I'm going to stop. Because when I come back, they still knew what I did. They're going to give me a chance. You'll just keep trying it, knowing you don't like it. And then that 3 dwindles all the way down till you have nobody. And when you finally stop, if you do say, I'm back, guys, so what does that mean to me? I've been stopped watching you. You should have stopped.
You trying to pop out, but the fizzle done went down a little bit now.
That's why I don't knock you when you say you lost the passion. But is it something that you plan to come back and do now that the passion is there? Because you don't even have to come. You can rebrand yourself too. Now again, that goes as a social media management rebrand. You may rebrand yourself out of that 3 too, because again, that 3 likes you for you. But don't ever fall in line with, again, trying to do it because you know that's what they like. Because that's what they like. You got 30,000 off of that audience. Don't mean you can't get another 30 from a different audience. So a lot of people lose their love for content because you're stuck doing something now, not because you like it. It's just because that's what you know works. But yeah, that is what works, but that may not be only what works. You can go do something else as well. So are we coming back with the same type of content, or are you looking to change it to a different content?
I love that question.
Probably different.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and that's fire. That's fire. Yeah, we definitely want to see it. We definitely are gonna support it. But yeah, how long have you been off YouTube? That long?
I'd say like a few months.
Oh, a few months. No, you still good. You still good then.
All right. Yeah, we got time.
We good.
I didn't know, man.
No, that's fire. Definitely got to subscribe to your YouTube.
Bro, I thank you for the gems though. I thank you.
Like, I love YouTube, like social media management. Like,
so how is that, bro? Like with the algorithms, how is that? Like,
it's a science. It's to everything. I tell everybody, like, I've done social media management for companies. I've done it for musicians. I've done it for any type of thing I know. But the goal is always different because you're hitting different demographics. Who are you trying to reach? What's your goal? Because I've seen some people who just want to be popular. They don't really have no real goal. I just want to be known more. Okay, that's a different course of action plan we're going to put for you. And I have other companies who are, of course, trying to get out there to make more money. That's a different course of action. Or some people just want to make money, but in a different demographic. Like she may reach teenagers, but she wants to reach 35 to 40-year-old. It's a different marketing strategy we're going to use to reach them instead of those. So it really just all depends. It depends on the metrics, and it really just depends on the goals and what the expectation is. But social media, I mean, it's dope, man. It could definitely help you out a lot. I mean, like I said, it helped me. Obviously, I use that same thing in my own method.
Yeah, I'm finna say, bro, you've been going crazy, brother. So what made you think of, you always had a vision for the studio, bro?
I always had, honestly.
When you at your spot first, right?
Oh yeah, we just moved here this month. Like even when we scheduled this, we would have still been doing it at the spot. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we my main goal, like I tell everybody, it was never this. My goal was when I left Warner Robins, because I lived in New Orleans for a few years.
I seen that.
When I left, and I seen, you know, because everybody think when you are where you're from that, man, I hated here, man. I need to go somewhere else because somewhere else is. Everybody thinks wherever you at is the worst place in the world, and everywhere else is better. Everywhere else is better. And then you go over there and you notice, bro, they got the same problems, if not worse than us. And you got to like start telling people, you know, appreciate. Nothing's wrong with going out doing what you want, but hey, man, appreciate home because home's gonna always have you more than anywhere else, more than any other stranger. Like appreciate where you from and appreciate the talent. 'Cause I think the issue becomes we support people from far and away, and it's probably because one, it got some weird connotation. Like if I give you your flowers, it's some weird connotation. Now I feel like I'm a fan of you. I just can't tell you you're doing excellent. That's something I wanted to change, bro. You can tell somebody they doing good, and it doesn't diminish the greatness you're doing.
That's what. Just don't forget that you fire too.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
And what I learned with this podcast, ironically, when you tell people they're doing good, that's when they give you the most flowers. That's when they now will be like, hey, bro, I think you're excellent. Oh, man, I ain't doing as good as you. You doing this and that. But had you never said nothing, he wouldn't have told you that either. So, or just learning. Like, my thing is, like I said, I never want somebody to have the excuse of I don't know. And a lot of the reason the excuse works is because pride won't have you just walk up and ask somebody how. So okay, cool.
You said it, man.
Now you won't go ask this real estate agent or this cook how they started or this mentorship program how they started. Now you don't have to. Now I sit down and talk to them. I ask them, throw it on YouTube for you. You give me about an hour to an hour and a half of your time. You got the blueprint. You never even had to go up and say a word to him. He don't even know you got that from him. So what's your excuse now? Because now
there's no excuse at all at this point, my G.
But that's my goal. Like I don't need the credit for it. Like I don't need the money from it. Like I tell people, like a lot of people thought like for a while, like, oh man, you making crazy money on the podcast. No, I had a great job. Like I had a real job.
So you was Geico, correct?
Yeah.
How long were you doing that, brother?
I had been at Geico, ironically, I'm not a Geico no
more. Bro,
more.
how old are you for one, bro?
I'm 29. I just had a birthday.
Wait, how old you?
I was 29. I just had a birthday on the 6th. But
I did not know that, bro.
Yeah, but it's crazy because a lot of people didn't know I had a real job because I'd be moving around. And the good thing with me, like I was telling you when I first, when I was younger, I was like 18. I moved to my mom's house and I was like 17-ish into my first apartment.
I remember, bro. For one, you know, me, Fool, Travis, everybody, we grew up with your sister, Vienna.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing you moving around on the north side, but I never, we never crossed paths enough to really meet type of situation.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I always knew, I'm like, damn, bro, from the north, did you play sports at all?
No, ironically, I could never stay healthy. Like, don't get me wrong, rec ball, all that.
Yeah,
but I knew for the longest sports wasn't for me. One, because I have I look like I'd be super athletic. Don't get me wrong. I could do some things. I couldn't stay healthy to save my life. Like I tore every ligament in my knee, ACL, PCL, MCL in this one, ACL in this one.
Yeah, that's a different type of injury.
So I learned early on, this ain't gonna be it for you, bro. You can't stay healthy. Like, and be real, I had a growth spurt after high school. In high school, I was about 5'1", about 120 pounds.
Word?
So, bro, you're not playing no way.
Did they have Tabor Academy when you were there?
Yeah, they still had Tabor Academy.
All right, respect.
It was like, bro, you're not getting on the field, you're not getting on the court. So, and the thing with me at that time, sports wasn't my lane, but I had that's why I mainly had my industry ties from. I was deep into music. Okay. So I had offers at that time from Slip and Slide when they still had Plies, Rick Ross, all them people, Atlantic, all the big major labels reaching out to me and things like that. Right. And it ain't go the way it should have, mainly because of ego. That's why I'm big on ego. Because it happened. That's why I talk to a lot of rappers and let them know, and maybe that's why I get the respect because they know, like,
They know where
even
you
now,
stand.
yeah, even now I can go home and show you contracts that they never seen. Like they don't even know what purgatory and things like that mean because you never sat in these rooms with the A&R. So I give the game to them. But like what I'm telling them is, you might be the man in your city, but if I go 10 minutes that way and they don't know you, that means nothing to the labels.
Your
But
proximity, G, is
and I
more.
say that not to disrespect their talents, because you moving, but I'm saying it as the person who it was. Like I was moving, I had all these labels calling me back then at 18 years old, in ignorance of have you believing, well, if I'm killing it like this at 18, y'all gonna keep calling. But what you don't learn, like what I learned quickly and what I preach to these musicians, the industry changes. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have a label every now and then, not no big label, but I still got A&R ties, because they still rock with me, they still show me love on IG and things like that. And that's why even now, as this podcast grew, I tell, all content creators, don't follow my path, because I'm not even gonna lie, I had the machine behind me. Like all those people, A&R's, big, like I had people with
respect.
Yeah, I had people with 500,000 followers on IG, 300,000, all these big artists. They was showing me love. They was like, hey, y'all, go follow my guy. Go subscribe to his YouTube. And, their followers came showing me love, not because they cared.
Yeah, but that was a platform exchange.
That was a platform. It wasn't even a platform exchange. It was, they gave me a favor. And that's the thing now that I tell people, it wasn't a collab. A collab is when I help you and you help me. I had nothing to offer them. It was just, hey, I respect what you got going. I respect your goal. Y'all go support my guy. And again, a lot of people started following me. Like my man Trey had told me, shout out to him, because this was important in my growth. Because when I first started, my IG was private. Because again, I wasn't doing nothing for the longest. He said, bro, because we was filming the rap sheet then, and I think my IG was private, but I had a ton of like ad requests. I ain't do nothing. Like, to be like on social media as much, I am ignorant to social media. So like he was like, bro, you got to turn your page public, bro. As soon as I did that, that thing blew. Like, because you got to think all these million or 500 to a million view pages is telling people go subscribe to him. And again, they don't care about me. I'm not ignorant to think half these people ever looked at me, but they just doing what they're told. But then again, that goes to the 10%. My 10% just raised. Like you talking about, all right, this 500,000 view page just told all they subscribers to go follow me. Of course, not all of them coming to do it. You might have about 2,500 of those come follow me. And now that 2,500, you now got 250 who just want to see why you just told me to follow this guy. Some of them just clicked it and never looked again.
In at what's going on, tape.
And that's how it continues to grow, because out of those, then those people start, obviously they don't got 500,000, but that one of those people who have, out of the 250 who's paying attention, maybe they got 10,000 subscribers. Same thing. Hey, y'all, go follow this guy. I like him.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
It continues to grow and move on. So that's why I tell people, too, you're never going to probably grow as fast as me, because I had those connections already. So even now, even like when I show love to platforms, I don't have 500,000. I think now I might have 50,000. So out of that 50, maybe 5,000 pay attention, maybe 5, who knows? But it's more than what maybe would have came about previously, because that's why I tell everybody, don't compare your journey to me, because my journey started at a different point than maybe yours was. I had the machine already. I just leveraged that music. And that's why, too, I don't even like making music. But I always hint that I'm making music, because I know you got to know where your audience started from. Like you had the football, leverage that to the mentorship. I had the music. Leverage. And I leveraged that into podcast and things like that. And then, too, they know, all right, he has a certain level behind it. So when I'm talking to people, especially on music, like this stuff right here, I don't have that. Like, I'm just talking, I'm learning. But most of the time on the music side, other than with Fule, shout out my guy, I always give him his flowers. He the one who really showed me I could do this at a high level. Other than maybe sitting down with somebody like him, I'm usually the A side in that conversation as far as knowledge I can provide you. So these artists will sit down and take it a little bit more serious, which is why it works. But I say enough about me. Ironically, it's my platform. I don't even like talking about myself on the platform. I just feel like it's too like self-fulfilling or like conceited.
My
like,
brother, I feel it.
This about you. This about your moment, man. What else of importance? Like I said, we really walked through your story. I feel like people who had no idea about the great things you're doing probably truly have an understanding of your greatness and what you've accomplished. But obviously, I don't know you better than you. So what things you feel like didn't come up that is important to your story, or just some other things you feel like is important to mention as we close this thing out?
Overall, man, I feel like everything was hit on beautifully. I just appreciate you for just opening up your platform, man. You coming from the 478 north side of town, it's one of those things of this had to happen.
Absolutely.
We had to make this work, man. I'm glad we were able to, but just the mindset and understanding of community and collaboration. I feel everyone has their own individual confidence of knowing that they can do something, but understand that you can be successful as well with others. You can really be more impactful and more powerful with others. So that's just it. That's my main message that I want to provide today. At the end of the day, finding that will to keep going forward. That is it. If I can hand that message out to some young entrepreneur, to some young professional, or to a person who's just in a space of not knowing, just every day finding that will to move forward. That's it. But yeah, man. Appreciate you tonight. Any closing messages, Mr. Nye? What's poppin'? Anything? I don't care. How you feeling? Say what's up.
How's school going?
There you go.
Pretty good. School's been going good. Yeah.
There we go. We done close it out with that.
That's all we need. But now, again, like I said, this was, like you said, we've been trying to get this lined up for a while. It's definitely an honor. I know how busy you are. You could have been doing 1,000 different things for you to come sit down here with me. Man, definitely respect. And like I said, I'm big on making sure people have the proper respect and proper understanding of situations. Like, yeah, we get a lot of credit for doing amazing things in the community, but this is not new, and that's something I like to stress. Like, this ain't new at all. This man has been doing it long before. I don't want to say he's gonna be doing it long after me as well, because I hope we both continue to do it.
We love it.
But he's been doing it long before me, and even I'm pretty sure somebody was doing it. No disrespect, because I'm pretty sure somebody probably was doing it at the same level, if not higher than him before him. But we want to make sure that it's a lineage. I don't want y'all to just think this just popped up out of nowhere and people weren't already putting the footwork in, putting the effort in, just making sure the proper respect and acknowledgement is given to the people who've been doing it. Like I said, it was an honor and a pleasure to learn your story. Like I said, I knew a little bit about you. Obviously, I didn't know all this. Looking forward to more sit down, more opportunities to work with you, man, and your mentorship. Keep being great. Keep helping the community, man. Create more people just like you. If we have more people like you, it's going to be a good community, man, especially now, like I said, I know you live in Atlanta, so a lot of people will move away, and let's be real, it ain't my problem no more. I don't live there.
No, that's a fact.
Like,
that's a fact.
So the fact that you come back and still put your time and effort to a community that you're from, but you're not actually in at the moment. I mean, you're always in it, but you're not in it.
Yeah, I'm there, but I'm not there.
Yeah,
you know me.
Yeah, the fact that you care enough to still come back and give your time and effort to these people, I didn't want it to go unnoticed. We appreciate everything you do that you don't know, and we just we'll continue to support you in that.
Respect, man. I appreciate that,
But
brother.
if these great people have nothing else to say, my name is Lawrence Ray, and we are done.